not just on certain part of the world. He cited Africa, that Africa is always left behind when it comes to when certain and very important decisions are being taken regarding how well the world should be run.
That statement from His Excellency President Pobia is just a good example of what I was saying here, because you can bear with me that President Pobia is talking about the equitable distribution of wealth when the rate of social injustice in Cameroon is too much. At least when we are saying something, to say charity begins at home. You cannot go to the international community and start preaching for equitable society or equitable Africa and all the like. Meanwhile, in your own country, you are unable to distribute wealth equitably. So those are the kind of hypocritical words or the kind of things that I see that make me very annoyed. Because they need to, at least we are fighting. That's why we are here fighting for injustice in Cameroon. Because we just left here, we're talking about discrimination. Somebody, a journalist arrested, tortured and killed, maybe because he's an Anglophone. Some other person because they don't have anybody in power, don't have any influence. They just arrest the person, detain you later on the beat and kill you to death. You do not have any voice or anything to say, and you go into the international community and try to go show a good image of Cameroon. Those are the kind of things. That's why we keep saying that when these things happen, the government need to play its own role, make sure that he sanction all those perpetrators.
You're speaking from a human rights defender's perspective. Not from from the way everybody wants to see things. No, they see when they talk about wealth being redistributed equitably, meaning that groups should not only be for certain continent and the African continent. No, it's not only end there, because we are talking here in Cameroon. We are talking about distribution of wealth in Cameroon. When we talk about employment, when they launch these things, when they launch concours here in Cameroon, we know what happens. Those are the beginning of distribution of this kind of things. So they launch concours here, people go right in Nam and all that. When the release comes out, you see all the more than 3/4 of those that are admitted are coming from one particular part of the country, and we are talking about distribution of wealth, talking about at the international level. When we are our own country, we are not able to distribute the wealth. So those are the kind of things we are talking about. The government need to do. When you have to preach something, you show an example of what you are preaching. Just don't go about and start preaching something when you are unable to do same in your own country. President Pobia has been preaching for a very long time.
Preaching and not doing anything. That's why we say President Pobia is very good in making speech, but not in action. We want action in Cameroon. We want all these kind of things to end. Social justice to be first. Social injustice to put an end to this social injustice, rate of social injustice in the country, so that we should be equitable distribution of income or wealth in all sense of it. No discrimination in any sense. No tribalistic tendency. Or people, I see people here who are going about preaching hate speech, talk about also form of tribalistic tendencies, and the president nothing is being done. Don't mean that the government keep encouraging these people. They are going to make sure that all those who are involved in all sorts of discriminatory issue or hate speech and all the like are arrested and prosecuted. Sometimes I am tempted to believe that maybe they are being backed by the same government who is supposed to protect the civilians or protect the country against any form of hate speech and all sorts of things.
Okay.
Alors voilà, on va prendre notre sujet. Lors de l'actualité, on va rentrer bien sûr dans la rentrée scolaire, puisque nous nous acheminons vers là. D'ici quelques jours, ce sera le train de la saison 2023-2024 qui va démarrer dans tous les établissements scolaires de l'enseignement secondaire. Eh bien, Mutation, arrivé à notre rédaction, le journal Mutation, nous informe ce matin que 494 clandestins ont été fermés. Alors, ceci dans l'objectif d'assainir le milieu éducatif. D'ailleurs, le ministre de l'Éducation de base évoque le défaut d'arrêté de création et d'ouverture des infrastructures dangereuses, inadaptées et accidentées, entre autres.
Recent decision of Professor Laurent Serge Etundi Ngua, who is of course the boss for basic education, he decided to close down 494 clandestine schools operating across the national territory in some regions, and not all the regions, some regions of the country. He cited those schools not having authorization to operate, to function, and also some schools that are operating in makeshift structures considered dangerous for the safety of the kids.
Well, in this situation, let me start by applauding the Minister Laurent Etuningwa for this initiative, but saying that because it's very, very important, because sometimes when some of these illegal schools are operating like that, some students or children go and register in these schools, and at the end they are having problems with regard to writing. They go in for their exams because the government will say at the end, they might say that they don't recognize the institution, but that is what I think should be done. And again, it's very regrettable, as you keep saying, that we in Cameroon we have a reactive leader. Those leaders who have to wait for things to happen before they start making noise. No, but why must he wait for the time of school resumption? Of course, that's all about this kind of things. At least when during the holidays, when the holidays just start, the minister need to go in on the field, verify all these schools to the school, and also they are sanctioned and permits are taken.
How did they come to play with that? Those schools even started functioning before?
I think that is the laxity of the minister himself, because I have at the regional and sub-divisional level, there are ministry, the branches of this ministry that are supposed to be delegation that are supposed to be monitoring all this situation to make sure that all those institutions that are functioning clandestinely to be identified and sent to the minister at the top, so that minister need to